Good evening, gentlemen. It's Monday. Excuse me, that's a terrible way to bloody start that. It's Monday night. It's the 3rd of October. Yes, autumn is settling in. The leaves have fallen, but never mind. I'm here and we're here. And you are all there, and I'm here, and I've got a beer. And let's talk tonight anyway. Monday night, nothing else happening late at night anyway, so may as well get together and have a little old chat, okay? So, what have we got here? Just say hello to everyone. Tom Easton, good evening. Brian Street, nice to hear from you, Brian. Leeds, Donald Trump, Martin Blunston. What's this? Martin Blunston. Good evening, Eddie and chat. Any U-turns tonight? No, the gentleman is not for turning. Or are you sticking to the plan? I'm sticking to the plan. I've got my travels coming up very, very soon. Well, early next month anyway. And I'm also sticking to the exercise plan. Wow, I have well and truly got my enthusiasm back for exercise. I really, really have. So enthusiastic about exercise that I'm celebrating with a beer. How about that? Chaz Brown, nice to hear from you. Alpha Interactions. Alpha Interactions, let's get back to Pattaya as soon as possible. Well, I mean, this isn't the travel channel, bearing in mind, the other channel, but I'm not a Pattaya vlogger, basically. I do like to go there, for the, fun. But Pattaya, well, it'll come around. David Coleman, hi, Eddie, nice to be here. I have some bad news about my Cuba trip. Well, I'm sure you'd like to tell us. Anyway, whatever it is, hope it's not too bad. Bottle Baby, love this intro, thank you. Jim Collis, oi, Eddie in chat. Jamie296, I forgot this was on tonight. What a nice surprise. Thanks for that. Chaz Brown, classic Eddie intro, yeah. Only because I accidentally deleted the other one. Teddy Jones, good evening. Den Travelarski, even that. Hope your day has been a good one. It's been my day is my day is right now is really, really simple. Really, it's just it's exercise, and it's being a bit more disciplined with what I eat and drink, and it seems to be working. I'm pleased with that. Kipax, good evening. Singapore Dan, guilty traveller. That's something I never am. David Marchant, AJ, hello, Skinny. I'm not skinny yet, far from it, mate. Capo 17, Kipax, what would we do without you? Well, you'd be watching the news, wouldn't you, this time? If you're in the UK, you'd probably be watching the news, or maybe you'd be watching Naked Attraction. Isn't that on a Monday night on Channel 4? You'd be seeing all these stark naked people, and it gets a bit boring that after a while. Ty Billy Boy, evening Eddie, off to work now. Looking forward to well, okay, nice to hear from you, mate. Ichigo, evening Eddie, not long left till your Thailand trip. Well, it's early next month, and it's coming. There's no problems right now. There seems to be no problems for me personally, because my flight seems fairly solid, which is a way of saying that I think it's going to be there when the time comes. Thailand and other those neighbouring countries seem to have ditched all the the quarantine, all the other stuff that went with the pandemic. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling better than I have for a very, very long time. I'm loving the exercise that I'm doing each day, and not the most exciting time, but I'm looking forward to these travels. Really, really am. Billy Bob, good evening. Niall M, Paul Harrison, Paul Hoskin, hello, Paul. Delayed Dave, good evening. Sean Griffiths, Alpha Interactions, 45-day visa exemption on entry to Thailand, and that's from 1st of October, isn't it? I'm not sure that I personally will be making much of that 45 days, because I'm looking forward to going to other countries as well. You see, Brian Street, Pat is now full of weed. Is that you've heard, Pat? I know you were in Bangkok, Brian. Pat's is now full of weed. I mean, it will be. You know, I've said this before, but I'll say it again. Isn't there something really suspicious about a country that was so strict on laws regarding dope and all that, that they bung it in some nasty prison for a very long time? It went from that extreme to we're now selling it openly in the shops. I mean, it's it's a bit strange, a bit suspicious about that. I'm just glad that I don't indulge in it. Kipax, have a beer on the bike, kill 2 birds and all that. No, definitely not. Definitely not. I drink an awful lot of that flavored water. I drink tons of that, and it's good stuff. It's nice and tasty. Got a nice lemon flavor to it, and there's almost no calories in it at all. Popcorn. Good evening, Ed. Do you do a checklist before I go away? No, I don't. And that's why I do get caught out. What do I do? What do I do? I left this webcam last time, didn't I? When I went to Thailand, I left the Logitech webcam, and funny enough, I was on the airplane on the Emirates flight to Bangkok, and I thought I'd checked everything, and whatever. And I thought, damn, it was on when I was on the flight. I realized, do you know what I forgot? I forgot the Logitech webcam. So anyway, when I was out in Thailand, I bought an inferior webcam, and I ended up bloody throwing it away. I ended up throwing it away because it was rubbish. I mean, the Logitech, this is the better one. But maybe the idea is to do a checklist. Yeah, you're right. Maybe that's what I'll have to start doing. Brian Street, I've heard Pat is now full of weed. Well, if they're all stoned, if all the guys in Pat are all bloody stoned on the weed, then that's good, because that means I'll have all the women. Well, they're all getting stoned. I'll be having all the women. Okay. Life Utopia. Evening, Ed. If Carlsberg made Monday night entertainment, absolutely. Carlsberg export is the best. Lovely. David Coleman, economically, it's not the right time to go to Cuba. I'm better off making my first trip to Pattaya. Make it maybe in March. Well, Pattaya will still be a good month. That's late on in the peak season. March, but it's still a good month to go. So good luck to you. Can't really go wrong with it. Brent L. Good evening, Eddie. 8 a.m. here in Melbourne. You're the following day, aren't you? An hour late due to daylight savings. Okay, so well, all I can say then, Brent, is nice to hear from, and have a good day. Yogi Bear, good evening, Ed. I see the Native American that refused. Oh, really? Yogi Bear, good evening, Ed. I see today the Native American that refused Brando's Oscar has died this afternoon, 83. Her name, Little Feather. Do you know something? Not so long ago, I watched that on YouTube. You can actually see her, can't you? It's a lovely girl. And funny, one of the things I want to talk about tonight is a little bit regarding protesters. Now, I mean, some things are, I'm not an American, so I can't comment on that really. But Brando had the right to do what he done. He protested. I think the reason Brando protested, in fact, he didn't turn up. He sent a Native American Indian in his place to collect his Oscar for The Godfather. The reason he protested is because of the depiction of ethnic minorities in movies, and particularly Indians, and that sort of stuff. Well, she lived till 83, which is not a bad age, but God bless her anyway. She looked like a lovely girl anyway. God bless her. Let's see. Okay, so anyway, where are we now? Alan Hunter, Paul Hoskin. I've been watching Hairy Armpit. No, I'm not hairy. No, I like hairy, but not the armpits, mate. Not the armpits. Mark Olive, good evening, Mark. Hope all is well, Mark. Hope all is well, mate. Cheers. Nice to have you there on a Monday evening. Pinball, McLaren F1. Great to see you. Kipax, also full of minge. What is? What is? Okay, let's see. So 134 people in the chat. So Monday night, word must have got out that, why be miserable watching the same old bloody news over and over again? Matey Boy's done a U-turn, hasn't he? Or Liz and Crispy or whatever his name is. They've done a Yui, haven't they? And I don't just mean they've thrown up. The rest of us have thrown up because when Liz became PM and Matey Boy, what is his name? Let's just call him Matey Boy, okay? Matey, we'll call him Matey. Liz became PM just a couple of days before Her Majesty passed away. So the first couple of weeks was really overshadowed. Liz, Liz was pushed into the background, wasn't she? But then they came out in spectacular style with the mini budget that wasn't really that many. It was a groundbreaker. I think he actually done it. This spectacular mini budget. I think he actually done it to impress. I think, all of a sudden scrapping the 45% tax for the upper earners and penalising some of the lower earners and all this kind of stuff. I think it was his way of saying, I'm here. I've arrived. I have arrived. I think that was his way of saying it. Well, it backfired anyway. And Liz admits that, it was the wrong thing to do. They didn't consult enough people. And they've done a Yui on it anyway, haven't they? Well, that's their bloody problem. And the idea that the pound, I keep hearing people saying the pound has rallied again. It's rocking up. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. A couple of points here and there. The pound is not going up. It is still totally mediocre against the US dollar and against the euro and the Thai baht. It's nothing to write home about, you know what I mean? So it isn't rocketing up at all. Okay, let's see. Rusty Lid, nice to hear from you, Rusty Lid. I've met Rusty Lid in Pattaya. So many weed stores that they need to change the sign to the hill on Pattaya. Okay, we need to talk about this. Maybe in the travel channel, we'll have to talk about this. Nice to hear from you anyway, Rusty. Martin Blunston. Yeah, a lot of tourists moan at Pattaya and now Potter, yeah, that's a good name. I kind of skipped over that. Somebody Rusty alert. They need to change the sign on the hill to Pattaya. Okay, that's good. There, I'm sorry, I didn't give that the credit it deserved. Pattaya. It's good name for a video. That might be coming soon. Gaz77. Just sat in a bar in Portugal drinking beer that I've got no intentions of paying for. I'm just telling the barman to add it to the tab. I'll be working out soon. Cheers, Gaz. Nice to hear you. Nice to hear from you. Sandra Taylor. Evening, Eddie. You were looking well. Cheers. Thank you for that, Sandra. I do appreciate that. No, you're nice to have you here, Sandra. Who's this? Daniel Mills. I've always done a checklist. Yeah, absolutely. I don't do a checklist. I know you should do really, for traveling and whatever. But I like I said, I forgot my I forgot the webcam last time. And also when you go to a supermarket, you fill your trolley up, and then when you're walking out, you're thinking to yourself, oh God, you know what I forgot? You know what I mean? Awful. Glenn Wyndham, Eddie, you're my inspiration. That's a song, isn't it? Really? Alter into that, mate. Okay, Ian UK. Hi Ed, good evening. He provided us with a good question the other day, didn't he? Ian UK. It was, do you watch YouTube more than you watch terrestrial TV and all that? And that was a good question. Good question. So nice to hear from you, mate. Billy Bob, I read an interesting article today in the Telegraph regarding what passport stamps to avoid getting in your passport. as it will prove difficult entering certain other countries on your travels. Yeah, I once returned from Central America, back to the UK, and the flight went via Philadelphia. And funnily enough, they didn't like the look at me at all. They really didn't like the look at me. I mean, they wanted to know why I'd been to countries. Well, I mean, I was the one who got stopped, basically. Go behind that screen and talk to the customers. And they were like the bloody Three Stooges behind the screen. There was three guys with guns. And don't forget, I'm British. We're not used to guns. And there was a white one, a Hispanic one, and a black one, and they were kind of looking through my luggage, and they wanted to know why I'd been to countries like Nicaragua, and they seen Thailand an awful lot on on my passport. They seen Turkey a lot because I used to visit Turkey, which is obviously a predominantly Muslim country. Vietnam. I mean, they were very, very suspicious about a lot of the countries that I'd been to. But what annoyed me when they were looking through my luggage, like they were obviously trying to look for drugs. I come from Central America, and they picked up one bloody package, plastic bags, and the glare on the guy's face when he paid. Oh, we got him here. This is where it's hidden. This is where it's hidden there. And it turned out it was just loads of documents with all plastic bags, one plastic bag inside another plastic, and that's where I kept all my main documents. And when they went through it, oh Jesus, we thought we had him there. We thought, oh Jesus Christ, oh man, we thought we had him there. And he tried another question there. The black one, he was doing all the talking. He tried a bit of a dumb question to see what my answer was. He said, "Can you tell me, sir, do you know what Nicaragua has a lot of?" That was his question. Do you know what Nicaragua has a lot of? And my reply was, "Yeah, I know what it's got a lot of. It's got a lot of very good live bands." That was my answer. Okay, they didn't find anything. They were, they looked very, very disappointed, but they just didn't like the look of me because when I passed through, I was a lone traveler. I was unshaved and I was very, very tan. So when I'm tanned and unshaven, some people mistake me for being from another nationality. But anyway, where were we again? Anyway, where were we? Okay. Ichigo, don't forget to pack your okay, for Big Ed, okay. Lewis C, I think I would try eating some weed food, but I wouldn't smoke it. I wouldn't smoke it. It's just, I don't know. I just don't know. It never really interested me, any of that. Eddie, there is definitely a decent amount of weed in Pat's, but I wouldn't say it's jammed. There's an awful lot of talk of weed in the chat, isn't it? Perhaps you'd like Bill and Ben to present this live stream. Okay. Delayed Dave. I fly to Israel next month and don't want that stamp in my passport. Yeah, well, we do know. Yeah. I know what you mean. I know what you mean there, Dave. I know what you mean. Let's see. Chaz Brown. Do you buy some currency in advance or near date of your travel? I don't really buy currency in advance, but I may do it this time. I used to buy a lot of dollars in advance, or maybe get a prepaid. I know I've left it late in the day because it's barely a month to go. But last time I was in, a prepaid dollar card is usually good. Listen, I'm going to do a video about this sort of stuff anyway pretty soon. Matthew Cartwright, nice to hear from you. David Coleman, if I go to Pattaya for a month, can I do it $1,000 for the hotel? For $1,000, you can get a damn fine hotel for that. Plenty of them around. Plenty of good hotels around. But if you're going to commit yourself to a hotel that you've never been to before, then make sure it's going to, and you pay up front, to stay in that hotel for a month. Make sure that it's the kind of hotel that you really, really want. Because you don't want to spend the first couple of nights there and then find, oh, no. They're not letting me bring birds back. Oh, let's see. Brian Street, Brian Street, does that mean you're going to protest on protest? We're going to talk about protesters, pretty soon. That's going to be a bit of a question tonight. Yeah. Gaz says, Gaz 77. Does anyone want me to put a video up on YouTube of me taking a poo in swimming pools? In swimming pools, but no, I don't think that's a video that I want to see. David Coleman, nice 3 stars and John TM for $30 a night, right on the beach. What do you think? Sounds bloody good to me. Sounds good to me. But like I say, before you commit to a whole month with any hotel, if it's one that you've never stayed before, just make sure that it ticks all the boxes because you wouldn't want to regret it. John Mitch, I hear being stoned on Pattaya weed whilst having an aerobic rumpty-bumpty session is quite a nice experience. I'm so unused to, I can handle the alcohol, mate, but I mean that kind of stuff. I bloody pass out or what, not for me. Nice to hear from you, John. Capo 17. Ed, I'm a barman in Portugal and some bloke is trying to get out without paying. His name's Gaz. Okay. Big fella, thanks. Nice to hear from you. Capo 17, crispy quarting. Okay. All right, I'll have to remember that one. So let's see. Poppygon, I heard Liz Truss described as the tin lady. Downgraded that. Hey, that's good. I like that. That's cool. That's cool. I like that one. Yeah, that's right. She's definitely not the Iron Lady, is she? I mean, there's nothing. I mean, I seen some news report today, and they were asking people in the street, how many marks out of 10 would you give Liz Truss? And some of them, the marks out of 10 weren't very good. I mean, okay, admittedly, she's only been around for about a month. Maybe even not, maybe 4 weeks since she became prime minister, and a couple of the weeks of that was taken up with the Queen. The Queen's funeral and her death, taking all the news stories. But there's nothing really I've seen in Liz Truss now that really makes me think she's wonderful. She hasn't been given a chance to actually do anything, but she actually hasn't done anything up to now, which has made me think, oh, I'd give it 10 out of 10. I think she's got a long way to go. Big fella, thanks. Price in your pocket with exchange rates is nothing to write home about for us travellers, but the ineptitude of the Tories is going to cost us all who are repaying for a mortgage. Well, it's sad economic. We have discussed the economic state of Britain right now, and it's not good. And it could get a lot worse with the energy bills and all this kind of stuff. I wouldn't necessarily. I mean, when you say the Tories, do you think Labour are really going to be that much better? Not really. I wouldn't say so. Let's see. Singapore can't do weed in public, from what I hear. Okay. Got to be behind closed doors. Paul Harrison, checklist, money, passport, rubbers. Okay. Barry KFC. I wouldn't go near any D's, especially in Thailand. But our weed is legal now. When other drugs absolutely. I don't know if they still got the noose around the neck or the firing squad, but I think a Thai prison wouldn't be a place where you'd want to be. Roy Jones, dollar has always been a safe haven, and we're in troubled times. Okay. Let me see. Let's see. Rusty Lid, waiting for the lady blunts and short-time rooms for bong bong to be rolled out. Okay. McLaren F1 race. Best thing ITV did bring us was spitting image. We need this to take the utter pedal out of our shit-show politicians, both sides. Spitting Image was wonderful when it came out in the 1980s. I think there's a newer version. I haven't actually watched the newer version. I don't really watch television anymore, but it used to be really great. Okay, David Coleman. Socialism only leads to mass starvation and concentration camps. Yeah, okay, if you say so. David Coleman, believe me, don't have an Israeli stamp. Okay. Skippy, US Customs don't like that with everyone. Complete power trips. Okay, US Customs are like that with everyone. Complete power trips. Yeah, it just seemed to me that I was the one. I mean, I was highly unusual for your luggage to be taken off the plane in transit. But that was my experience at Philadelphia Airport. Anyway. Yeah, here we go. Okay, here we go. He's here, isn't he? He's here. Block that one there. Block that one. Kipax, did they check your bum? Are you talking about going through when I went through? No, they didn't check me. Oh no. Are you talking about customs off? I've never had that. So have you ever had that? Did they check you? But I mean, when you drop your pants and they look up your ass, oh my God, Tom, that's bloody awful. What kind of job? Do you know if ever I got that, if ever I was stopped, and sorry, but we need to check up your ass. I mean, I feel sorry for the poor bastard who had to do it. Jesus, imagine looking up someone's bum. Oh my God, what kind of job is it? I mean, imagine these customs offers. Like, I mean, they go to work every day. Drop you, somebody sweaty, fat, hairy fella. Drop your trousers, mate, and bend over. I want to look up your ass. I mean, imagine that. Just spread your cheeks in a yuck. I feel sorry for the poor bastard if he had to do that with me. And imagine when he goes home to his messes of a night time. Hi dear, how was work at the orifice today? Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, what a terrible job to have. Feel sorry for them. Anyway, Sandra Taylor got my cup of mellow birds and went to put the news on. Then I thought it's Eddie time. Oh, that is so nice. Mellow birds. I haven't had mellow birds coffee for a long time. I tend to have Kenko or Carte Noir or whatever it's called. Anyway, mellow birds. Well, that sounds really, really nice. That's such a nice word, isn't it? Mellow as well. And birds is and coffee is a nice word as well. Nice to hear from you, Sandra. Glenn Wyndham, Eddie, were you disappointed the custom office didn't do a cavity? We just had the one. Eddie, David Coleman, Eddie, you're lucky you never got the rubber glove treatment at one of your airport stuff. I'll tell you, funnily enough, where I have been stopped a couple of times is on the way back at Heathrow. Coming back at Heathrow, and one of them was a lovely black girl. Really beautiful girl. Oh, excuse me, sir. Can we just check through your luggage? They just don't like the look of me. So they just don't like the look of me. But I'll tell you what, I was going to get the old, let's check your rear ends. I wouldn't have minded it from here. I don't mind this, baby, as long as it's you that's doing it. I wouldn't have said no to that at all. Let me see. Where are we now? Okay. Let me just see. Where are we now? Did I just skip forward there? I think I did just skip forward. If I just skip forward anyway, apologies to that anyway. Apologies to that. Simayak Massini. Ed, last week the pound got as low as $1.4. Now it's 113. Big change. Yeah, but it's still crap though. It is still crap. I mean, I wouldn't get excited at $1.13 to a pound. So it's still very volatile. It's got a long way to go. Anyway. Big fella, price in your pocket for exchange rate is nothing to compare. Oh, yeah, okay. I think whatever. I think I've skipped a little bit here. I'll just go forward a little teensy bit. A little teensy weensy bit. Here we go. Welcome to one of the great stalwarts of this channel, Nick Ross. Israel does not stamp your passport at all. Really, apparently it's a very, very expensive country to visit there, Israel. So I don't think I'll be going there. Cuba doesn't stamp your passport, although they didn't when I went there years ago. Nick Ross, I worked there for 2 years. Nick Ross knows. Nick Ross knows. Capo 17, Dougal on the magic roundabout was always stoned. Oh, they were all full of connotations then, weren't they? You know, the magic round. The magic roundabout, that sounds like, you know, someone on bloody acid, doesn't it? You know, it sounds a bit like trippy and psychedelic, doesn't it? The magic roundabout. The bloody magic round. And I was one of the characters called Dylan, and yeah, they're all like, so it was just like in the hippie era, wasn't it? And that other bloody thing, what was it called? Captain Pugwash. Had characters like Master Bates and Seaman Staines, and oh, Jesus Christ. Someone was having a laugh there. Cats and good coffee, nice to hear from you. Today I saw something a bit sad. A friend of mine had the dream to get divorced and move to Vietnam. Instead, today saw he had expanded his small business in Europe. His evil wife brainwashed him. That sounds terrible. That sounds terrible. And he gave up his dream to move to Vietnam. That is bad news. Never trust him. Never trust anybody. Never trust anybody. Paul Hoskin, I'd like to apologize for all my comments over the last few weeks. I need to sort myself out. I've let myself down, right? Are you sure that you are the real, genuine Paul Hoskin? Because we all know Paul Hoskin, and somehow that doesn't sound like the kind of thing that he'd say. Gaz77, just climbed out the toilet window. That's about 5 pints I've had for free and a bottle of wine outside the local shop. Just that's about 5 pints I've had for free and a bottle of wine of time. The local shop now for a free ice cream. Okay, to the barman in Portugal, he's climbing through the window. Okay, here we go. Yoz Travels, nice to hear from you, Yoz. A 4 to 5 star condo only works out 500 quid for the month in Pattaya. It's far better value than a hotel. You get a couple of pools, gym, kitchen, and bring ladies back with no problem. That's good. That's good. I've never really stayed in condos. I mean, well, only fleetingly, really. I will give it a go one of these times. But somehow I just like I like the feel of being in a hotel. I mean, I'm just used to hotels where they knock on the door of a morning time and say, "Get out of bed, you lazy bastard. We want to clean your room." Or, you know, when you go down and the receptionist greet you and, you know, smile. You don't always get that with a condo, you see. But yeah, that sounds like good information. Thanks for that. Okay, David Coleman. Yes, I will really check that the hotel is guest friendly. Thanks, Eddie. Okay, cheers. There we go. Lucky use it. Okay, there we go. Get rid of him. Nick Ross, trust the idiot, has been around 12 years in government. She's an idiot. Yeah, okay, whatever. So you don't like her then. Sean Harris. Hi, Ed. Would you give Bo Derek a 10 out of 10? Bo Derek, yeah, bloody, oh, lovely woman. Lovely woman. Lovely woman. Well, she was. I don't know what she looks like now. Let me see now. Let's see. Kipax, you get bummed to death. You get bummed to death now. Well, I'm not quite sure what that one's all about. Okay, so I'm gonna start. You know, it's gonna be a question, a bit of lively debate for the Monday night, anyway. Cats are good coffee. Accommodation is running out quickly in Bangkok. Today, dedicated a few hours to book the best possible hotel in Bangkok for November. And so hotel rooms are gone when they were available just hours ago. Yeah, well, you do have to book it around about Christmas time. I mean, if you're going to stay in somewhere like Pattaya around Christmas time, make sure you book your hotel in advance because that is the time when all of a sudden the hotels will get booked up. So you may be caught short there. Kipax, I don't mind weed, but I hope they're not allowed to smoke it in bars and clubs. Okay. Let me see. Okay. There we go. We'll just skip through a little bit. Skippy, I remember Diana Ross getting frisked by a woman at Heathrow. The woman got to the crotch and Diana belted her one and got arrested. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I know, but what it is, the thing is, I've seen people protesting when they're in line to get sort of frisked, you know, when they're going through security. I see one guy who refused to do it. And the guy said, no, you're not touching me, you're not touching me. And this young man, you know, was in the frisk and said, are you refusing to be searched, sir? And the guy looked at me like, just get down. But there is a reason why. There is a reason why the guy didn't want to be frisked. It's quite obvious because the guy doing the security man doing the frisking was, how can I put it, kind of, you know, effeminate sort of. You know, he kind of. He looked like he battered for the other side. And you know something, I wouldn't want someone like that, you know, touching me. I mean, I wouldn't mind a glamorous bird touching me, but I wouldn't want someone who looked like he battered for the other side. And a lot of the women who do the frisking, a lot of them look like elves. You know what I mean? So, you know, maybe down the front, maybe it was like someone who looked like an owl. Okay. Johnny B, nice to have you. Just ditch the news to watch Steady Eddie. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. It's David Mayer, contraband stuffed up your ass in prison is called suki. Why would anyone want it? Oh, you really want to bloody shove something up your rectum and then later you're going to unwrap it and smoke it? How bloody disgusting. How disgusting is that? How absolutely disgusting is that? Yeah, yuck. At least when I drink, it comes out of a nice fresh bottle. Jesus Christ. Boo hoo, nice to hear from you. Paul Hoskin. Customs started laughing when I went through the X machine. You know why? You know why, don't you? Because he keeps a nice big wrapped sausage and Mattison's down his pants to make himself look more manly. Oh my God. David Coleman, what if he were a guy in a college? You had to look at old women. Do you know? I wouldn't like to do that. They can pay me bloody 10 grand a week, and I still wouldn't want to do that. Oh, yuck. Yuck. Lagan, I guess it's the wrong time to be eating dinner here on the East Coast in the States. Okay, we'll stop all this smutty, filthy talk. John Mitch, okay, he's got an appointment at the hospital next week. We're going to stop this smutty talk here, the vulgar stuff. Yeah. Let me see now. Let me see. Well, yeah. Let's see. Wasn't it? Let's see. Okay. I don't know where this conversation goes. Mary Mungo and Midge. I remember that one. Paul Hoskins, Sutty and Sweep. Okay. So at least we stopped the vulgar stuff. Let me see. Okay, Ian Bowden is here. Evening, Eddie and everyone. We've been to EU 3 times this year. At this rate, our passports will get filled up with stamps before they expire. Oh well. Good luck to you anyway, mate. Getting a passport to go to a stamp to go to an EU country. I got that when I was in Romania, and Romania is now in the EU. for the first time, it dawned on me, you know, that we are no longer in the EU. British, we are now, you know, genuine foreigners. Let me see. Okay. Bottle baby. Middle-aged man traveling alone with a single suitcase. Always gets the manga treatment. Traveling through Heathrow once, going home. I was pulled out of the line, then searched. Okay. Ricardo. Evening, Ed. Sick of going to the same places in Thailand. What were your thoughts on Hua Hin? It's worth a visit. It's well worth a visit. I mean, some people love Hua Hin. I think it's one of those places where you would like to retire. It's probably a better place to retire because it's got everything you want. I mean, it's got, you know, it's got everything from nice shopping malls to some nice bars, and it's got a beach and all that. I didn't think it was the most exciting place personally, but then some places are great to holiday and some places are great to retire. Maybe Hua Hin. A lot of people insist that that's their favorite place in Thailand, so it's well worth a look. Rusty Led. I've been pulled aside by immigration a couple of times. They usually just curious of working on making money in their country and why I rarely return to the USA. I've never, do you know, I've never ever been, you know, pulled by immigration customs in Thailand. Never. So, you know, maybe they think I've got a trustworthy face, whereas in Britain and other countries, they just, you know, just don't like the look of me. Johnny B. Hi, Steady. I'm happy the pound is improving as I embark on Greece. What are you most looking forward to on your next trip? Cheers. On my next trip, I'm most looking forward to going places other than Thailand. I'm looking forward to Cambodia. You know, I really am looking forward to Cambodia. It's probably not as great as it used to be, but it'll be nice to visit that place again. And maybe another country, maybe Laos, maybe even Vietnam. We'll see about that anyway. I'm just looking forward to getting away from here. But anyway, have a nice time in Greece anyway, Johnny. Okay, Brian Street. Brian Street. Okay, cheers for that. Thanks for that super chat, Brian. I appreciate that. Brian's just come back from Thailand. I think he was in Bangkok an awful lot, and he had a good time. So good for him anyway. Cheers for that, Brian. Stephen Forex, Frist is just being molested by a person in a uniform. David R. David R. is off to Bangkok soon. He lives in California. He's going to Bangkok soon. Good for him. Anyway, you know, you can't. I know you can't wait, David. So have a great journey. Anyway, have a lovely journey. Capo 17. Lisa Dale had 10 kilos of weed hidden up at a Heathrow. Jesus, with a fanny like age, you could probably shove the tractor up there as well. Oh my God, as well. David, let's see. Stephen Forex. I've been watching on TV mostly, so I'm too late to have a laptop open to chat. Well, except now. Nice to hear from you anyway. Nice to hear from you. Ian Bowden. I can imagine people will be getting stoned on inhaling other people's spliffs from this high season. I just don't understand how Thailanders U-turned on their drug rules. Well, obviously someone's making money from it, aren't they? I mean, you know, obviously, I mean, if it's available in shops and all of this, and this has all sprung up since I was last in Thailand, so I don't really know the full script with it. But obviously, they're making money, and the shops are paying tax on it, and yeah, you know, so I'd rather see. I don't have a problem. I'd rather see it legit personally rather than underground. I mean, if somebody gave me, you know, something containing weed and whatever, I wouldn't know what that could be. Bloody tea leaves for all I know, you know. David Coleman, I did get pulled over by security in Toronto after I came back from South America. but they were friendly and everything was okay. One of the worst friskings I ever had was when I crossed from Colombia into Brazil. I was in the Amazon region, and actually, uh, what was the Colombia side? It was the Colombia side called Leticia, and the Brazilian side called Tabatinga. And yeah, I actually dragged my luggage. There was really no border at all. I just dragged my luggage across the signpost saying "Welcome to Brazil." Yeah, from Colombia into Brazil, and it wasn't a problem at all. But this town called Tabatinga is actually where you get the boat, a Brazilian boat, through the mighty river. And I was getting on a boat, the mighty Amazon river. This is the Amazon region, and it's when you get on the boat that's when they start frisking you, checking your luggage. And Jesus, it was really, really. Everyone dragged their luggage because obviously you just come from Colombia and now you're in Brazil. They think you're going to smuggle something. And Jesus, I got frisked an awful lot. By the authorities there, and they had all these bloody mighty big weapons, these Kalashnikovs and all kinds of things, and I had various tablets, like that I took, for health reasons. It was I was thrown up against the wall and frisked, and oh my God Almighty, quite scary, really. David Mayer, the first time I was frisked when I went to see the movie Sid and Nancy. Oh Jesus Christ. Okay. Okay, so basically, what we're going to do now, Kipper, Dickie B, nice to have you, Dickie B. Even Eddie, seeing a YouTube post today with the prices for the ferry from Pattaya to Koh Samui seemed a bit pricey to me, but look like good accommodation on the boat. Well, I mean that's a brand new ferry, and I haven't experienced that. When I was in Koh Samui earlier this year, and but did I hear it's a 12-hour journey or something like that? I mean, or I don't know. I don't think that's for me somehow. But yeah, I think it will be a bit pricey. But well, we'll check it out anyway. I'll try and find out what that's all about when I'm over that way. Stephen 4X, not too bad. I'm looking for flights like crazy now. Bit excessively, to be honest. Okay, I don't know what the script is with flights at this moment in time because I booked mine, a couple of months back, and I booked my flight at a very reasonable price. I think if you book the flights now, they probably will be ridiculously expensive. If you plan on going for Christmas or something like that. Um, anyway, okay. Lewis C. It's medical cannabis, not supposed to get you stoned. I will try it next time. Okay. Yours travels, think it's over 12 hours, more like 14 hours. So definitely need a cabin. And is it worth it, really? When I spent 3 days on a Brazilian boat going through the Amazon, I mean, is 14 hours going across the Gulf of Thailand, is that really that exciting, really? I've been on boats going from the islands to Koh Phangan to Koh Samui, that sort of thing. But I wouldn't want to be I wouldn't really want to be traveling across there for half a day. Okay, so let me see now. Let me see. Okay, so it's squeaky door time. I'm coming back with a question, the big question. Okay, okay. I'm back. Let's see, where are we now? Okay. Okay, so I think I'll treat myself. You know, I've been hard at the exercise. So I think I'll treat myself a Cumberland, not a sausage, a Cumberland real ale, Jennings Golden Beer. And this is nice and cold. It's only 4% alcohol, but it looks okay. So let's give this a go. This is Cumberland. Oh, I like it already. I don't drink too many real ales because obviously it doesn't go well with my exercise regime, but you know, once in a while, treat yourself. That is nice. That's very, very nice. It's not the strongest, but it's tasty. Oh, lovely stuff. Lovely, lovely, lovely stuff. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so let's do a big question, right? Now, how can I phrase this? How can I phrase this? Okay, how can I phrase this about protesters? Okay, now you got these, but protesters. Protesters are important. If something's wrong with the government, you need to protest. And sometimes people get out in the street and they protest in various ways. It's people protest in all kinds of different ways. If you've got a real political cause or you think there's an unjust going on in the world, you've got to get out in the streets and protest. If you feel you're being ripped off on the fuel prices, you get out and protest. Okay, fair enough. But about these conservation and what is it, climate change people who protest. There are some bloody oddballs on who get involved in all of this. So the question is, now I'm going to phrase this another way. Simply because what I'm talking about is that often these people protest about roads which need to be built, and they say you shouldn't build these roads because you're going to damage the environment. You shouldn't build another runway at Heathrow because it will create more planes in the sky, and as for HS2, this controversial rail network that most of us will probably never live to see. They protested about that as well. So, question is, okay, let's oh Jesus Christ. I can phrase this a lot of different ways, but this will have to do really. So should protesters get in the way of modern progress? Now, what I'm talking about is that countries have to develop. We need better railways. We need better airplanes. I think we have 2 runways at Heathrow, and the controversy's gone on for years about building a third runway. Boris Johnson, in his wisdom, said that we shouldn't build a third runway at Heathrow because we'll have too many planes in the sky. That's basically what he said. But he was mayor of London. But then you've got other people who protest, and some of these people who protest saying you shouldn't build this road here because it will damage the trees, or you'll have to uproot all these 500-year-old trees and all of this. Come on, in the modern world, a country has got to progress. It's got to compete with the rest of the world, and it's not going to compete with the rest of the world. It will simply sit there and worried about damaging the bloody trees. So maybe I'm a little bit offhand here, But what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Let's go back to the comments. Let's go back to the comments. Let's see, Paul Maroney, the idiots who put crap on a memorial to Saddam. Good. Oh, that's dreadful. I mean, that's not protesting. That's lunacy. That is. That's grossly. They're idiots. I mean, they are idiots. People who do that. Didn't David Gilmour's son ended up going to prison because he urinated on a war memorial? Man, that's not protesting. That is just gross. That is grossly offensive, and he should have been put in prison for that. Let's see, where are we now? Nick Ross, climate change is just moral posturing, which will end the apocalypse. Okay. Mango, they're all paid activists, phonies. Okay. Protesters are oxygen thieves. Okay. Dutch Farang, oh no, politics. Let's see, Paul Oscar, the more you learn, the more stressed you get. Yeah, Nick Ross. Where was this? Where did I just see that? See that then? Nick Ross, climate change protests are just moral posturing. Okay, I think we've already seen that. David Mayer, who's to say what is progress? Well, progress. I mean, we need trains, we need airplanes, we need to compete with the rest of the world. I mean, but what it is? I mean, do you put trees before? I mean, let me just explain something. This HS2, this controversial railway, which is now underway. What it does is it goes from London to northern cities, Birmingham, Midlands, and maybe Manchester, and it's going to cost an absolute fortune. And most of us will never ever live to bloody see this thing. It's going to be about another 20 years in the future before it's done and dusted. Now, it's important for the country to have a high-speed rail network. But is it really worth it? Apparently, one of the reasons this has been so delayed is because of protesters. It's because of protesters who say that, you shouldn't disturb the landscape or uproot trees that are 500 years old, ancient woodlands. I mean, who's going to see these trees? Okay. I mean, how many people are going to go out the way to see a 500-year-old tree? I know it's 500-year-old. I know it's history. But I mean, isn't it more important for you to have a decent rail network? David Coleman, Eddie, those crazy protesters glued themselves to the sidewalk. I'll tell you what I'll show you now. Does anybody remember this person here? Anyone remember him? His name was Swampy, and he was in the news. Now, this guy, when he made a name for himself, in the 1990s, he was only in his early 20s, and I'll tell you what he did. Swampy, he became a well-known name, and became a bit of a minor celebrity. What did he do again? Okay, let's see in a minute. Oh, let me see. Yeah, Swampy. I'll just read this out here. Swampy became a nationally known figure in 1996 after spending a month in a complex series of tunnels, dug in a path to an extension to A30 in where was it? In Famiel, Devon. Okay. Now, what it is with this fella, he loved the earth. He was one of those new age people, wasn't he? And he thought we shouldn't have new roads. We should save the countryside instead of having new roads. New roads are very, very important. And a classic example of this, not far from where I live, there's the Careswell bypass. And basically this road, this dual carriageway, was designed to connect the very, very poor roads of Devon, very poor roads. And because apparently when you come off the motorway and hit Newton Abbey, as soon as you hit Newton Abbey, all of a sudden it just we got this old road, and an old road is no good for modern traffic. Nowadays, the Carswell bypass, which is pushed through by David Cameron, by the way, who liked his holidays in the southwest of England. Beforehand, we had this crappy old road on an even older road. To travel out of Devon. Whereas now the Carswell bypass, it's made things so much easier. It's made traffic so much easier. And a lot of these people protested against it. It's going to uproot the landscape. You're going to have to chop down trees. Excuse me, but you put a brand new road in the countryside. The countryside will recover. And at the end of the day, you need progression. You need new roads. You've got to have them. I mean, what are we all going to do? Are we all, every time one of these bloody protesters says, you can't build a road there because it'll destroy the bloody landscape, and think of the foxes, think of the owls, think of the trees. Oh, I know foxes and owls and trees are wonderful things. They're wonderful things, but they can't get in the way of bloody the modern world. Maybe I've phrased this question in a wrong way, but I think you know what I mean. Ian Bowden, the future of humankind is on course for destruction, so we may as well progress until doomsday anyway, okay? Dutch Farang, vandalising war memorials is a no-no. I'd call that criminal. I wouldn't call that protesting at all. Anyone who doesn't respect the people who fought for this country should be bloody bunged in prison. Paul Hoskin, I'm a huge Nigel Farage and UKIP supporter. The young people need to learn about our history, okay? Kipax, we had a protest in Manchester at the weekend. What was that over exactly? Sandra Taylor, trouble is, Eddie, not everyone sees. A little bit more about Swampy, just to fill you in. Whatever happened to Swampy? Everyone knew his name. Whatever happened to Swampy? I'll just tell you what happened to Swampy. Get off there. Get off. That's it. Whatever happened to Swampy, okay? Now, let's see. Okay, now, known as Swampy, he gained notoriety by tunneling under a bypass to try to stop construction of a road, okay? I was only about bloody 23 at the time. I mean, what would a 23-year-old know for crap? Who's going to listen to a 23-year-old? But the once dreadlocked eco-warrior has turned his back on protesting and is now living in a remote hippie commune in Wales. Oh, well, good for him. So he's progressed, hasn't he? From being a Swampy to being a hippie. There's a progression. He no longer wants to be called Swampy and instead goes by his real name, Daniel Hooper. Okay? The 40-year-old lives with his 4 children in a yurt alongside... Can somebody tell me what a yurt is? What the hell's a bloody yurt? Alongside 100 hippies. He lives with his children alongside in a yurt alongside 100 hippies. New Age travellers and nudists in a 200-acre stretch of farmland in the Welsh Valleys. Oh, there's nudists there as well. Oh, well, we'll all go down and have a look in that case. Let's see. The assortment of characters in the camp live in teepees, caravans, yurts, and mud houses. Okay. This is okay. The assortment of characters in the camp lives in teepees, caravans, yurts, and mud houses. Okay. No, that's important, that, because just remember, when there's a brand new, much needed road or rail link being built, when you get people like this, Swampy, getting out on the roads and protesting, you think, well, he's a hero, he is. Just look at what type of person this is. I mean, would you personally, can you identify with somebody who lives in teepees, caravans, yurts, and mud houses? Swampy became a hero. He became a celebrity. He tunneled he spent days in a tunnel, and then he got arrested. He spent, protesting in a tunnel, in protest. Anyone who lives in Devon and the southwest of it knows the roads are absolutely bloody inadequate. They need to come up to date. And the thing is, people. The sad thing is, This guy was a 23-year-old protester who went on to live in a yurt. Now, do you seriously bloody listen to people who live in yurts? I wouldn't. Okay, anyway, so there you go. Stephen Forex, these are middle-class lovies for the most part. No idea about the real world. Well, I'd say a 23-year-old has got no idea about the real world. Stephen Forex, HS2 is a white elephant, though. Well, could be, yeah, could be. Nice bear. A white elephant. Oh, what's the documentary about HS2? Now, this high-speed rail network that goes from London, it's to connect the north and make it easy for people to travel. What is the script of this HS2? Well, I'm not necessarily in support of it, because apparently it started off the idea, they thought it was going to cost about 30 billion. And in the long run, it's going to cost more like 100 billion. Now they think it's going to cost about 100 billion. But then in the long run, it probably cost a hell of a lot more than that. And not only that, but it won't be finished in about another 20 years. Most of us will never ever see this thing. And and most of us who live in the south don't want to go to the north anyway. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the north. I'm not saying there's anything wrong, but I'm not queuing up to go there. Okay, let's see. So where are we? Yeah, HS2. Let's just add a little thing about HS2. What is the script of it? What the script with HS2? Okay. Phase one, all of the project will be between London and Birmingham, while the second phase will extend the route further north to Manchester and Leeds. But HS2 is quite controversial. Those who support the project say it will improve transport times, create jobs, and help the country's economy. Well, don't forget, some of these railway lines were built about bloody 200 years ago or something like that. Or I mean, a hell of a long time ago. Anyway, critics of it though are worried about how it will impact wildlife, the countryside, their homes, and how much it will cost. Okay, now wildlife's wonderful. But the thing is, if you build a road, the wildlife's going to go bloody somewhere else. You know what I mean? It's progression, I think, is most important. And I hope that doesn't mean that I don't care for owls and rabbits and foxes. I do care for them. They're wonderful creatures. As for 500-year-old trees, on this documentary I watched, people said, this tree is about 500 years old. Okay, we shouldn't just pull a bloody 500-year-old tree up. But the thing is, in the name of progression, I mean, how many people are going to visit that 500-year-old tree? I mean, are you going to go to that 500-year-old tree and think, you can't bloody destroy this? You can't progress through this because this is 500-year-old tree. Most people are never going to be bloody bothered. If there was a 500-year-old tree down the road, I wouldn't go and see it, personally. I wouldn't go and see it. And as for, I mean, this is it. The project will be faster between London and Birmingham. What, by about 20 minutes? Apparently, if you actually look at the times that are going to be saved by this high-speed rail link, it's going to knock about 20 minutes off your journey in most places. 20 minutes, that's damn all. Are you really going to spend 100 million on a rail link so that you can get there 20 minutes quicker, for Christ's sake? The trains are going to be traveling up to 250 miles per hour. Okay, that's fine. But don't forget, Britain's a small country. I mean, it's not as big as France or Spain. So 20 minutes. I mean, it's going to reduce your journey from an hour and 20 minutes to 1 hour. Is that really worth it? Is it worth all the hassle? Here's an example. For example, once it is built, London to Birmingham travel times will be cut from 1 hour 21 minutes to 52 minutes, according to the Department of Transport. Are you excited by that? I'm not. I'm not. I mean, it's the 21st century. I want bloody teleports. I want to step into a booth and be. I want to be in Bangkok and in 2 minutes later. Yeah, the UK's rail networks were mostly built by the Victorians more than 100 years ago. So many people think it's time for an upgrade. I know I said 200. That's because I'm pissed. Don't take any notice to me. The Department of Transport has said that the project will triple the number of people able to take the train across the entire route. I reckon most people won't even, because why do a lot of people not take the train in this day and age in Britain? 2 reasons, mainly because they're bloody unreliable. I won't get a train to London if I've got a plane to catch, because I just don't trust them. And the other reason why, trains are bloody expensive. And you don't think that one's going to be cheap. That one, where the HS2, when it eventually comes about, it's going to be out of most people's price brackets anyway. So yeah, in terms of that, Steve, yeah, you're probably right. Probably is a white elephant. Roy Jones, send them out to Battaya to protest about bar fines going up. Yeah, there's another one. There's another one, absolutely. This is nice beer, this. Okay, so let's see. Boohoo, protesters are misguided dolts. Earth is cooling and CO2 is at a historical low. Okay. Ian Bowden, Swampy is still around now too, as he was in the 90s. Yeah, he's living in a yacht. What did I call it? A yacht? It's well, he lives in, or a yurt. He lives in he is around now. He lives in a yurt, whatever the hell a yurt is. Stephen Forex already way over budget, as all these huge projects are, and the tech will already be obsolete by completion. Apparently, by completion, it's not going to be done for another 20 years. But most of us will be bloody dead by then. Yours Travels, they can't even get chargers fitted in car parks, supermarkets, and services for the electric cars. How can we be fully electric by 2030? They're a joke. Buy a 40 grand EV and can't charge it. Yeah, I know. I've heard that. I mean, apparently the infrastructure just isn't there if you travel around the country. You know, buckets to get hold of a charger. David Coleman, we need progress. Absolutely, we need progress. Nick Ross, my mate Swampy, his tree is still standing. Okay. Okay, here we go. Yogi Bear, Ed, this is what animal rights. They broke into a mink farm and released them. They have now took hold and are killing everything in our rivers as there is nothing to kill them. Is that conversation? Yeah, there's always 2 sides to the story, isn't there? I mean, you know, you ask farmers, you ask farmers, about, foxes and other wildlife that kill their animals. Absolutely. There's always 2 sides to the stories, isn't there? Really. I mean, they're now killing everything in our rivers as there's nothing to kill them. Is that conservation? Rusty Led, vandalism while protesting is a form of violence. They're not a peaceful lawmaker process. Okay. Kenny J, all that money on HS2 just to knock 20 minutes off the travel time to Manchester. My sentiments exactly. My sentiments. Andrew Owen, Swampy is dead. He had a heart condition, and they offered him a bypass, but he turned it down. Really? Well, I mean, it seemed to be maybe the news story that maybe what I was reading about him is a couple of years out of date. Jamie296, HS2 is about capacity. When anyone who is against HS2 is given the alternative, they often have a change of heart. I mean, the thing is, there's roads that are being built. And people, as soon as the roads have been given a go ahead, much needed roads. The protesters have come out. Oh, what about the owls? What about the foxes? What about the hills, the trees, and all of this kind of stuff? The thing is, once that road is being built, and I know this from personal experience, once they eventually build that road and the protesters are all pushed by the wayside, people use that road, and then they often think, I don't know how I could ever have lived without this road. I mean, I know for the fact that some of the roads in Devon are absolute rubbish. They just can't cope with the volume of traffic. You give them a nice dual carriageway, and all of a sudden, they think this road's great. How do we ever cope so long without this road? That's what happens. We need progress. We need good infrastructure. We need good infrastructure in the modern world. Stephen Forex, they've already cancelled some stretches of HS2 near Warrington. I'm kind of thinking that, it's going to be a white elephant. I mean, in terms of for those times that it's going to, bear in mind, Britain's only a small country anyway. I mean, it's not worth. I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth it. Simply all that money, simply for 20 or 30 or even 30 minutes less on a bloody journey. I just don't think it's worth it. I really, really don't think it's worth it. Let's see. Okay. Kenny J. He was nicked at a protest not so long ago. He still had it. Probably never worked a day. And it's like, oh, okay. Capo 17, Swampy is now working for London Underground. Okay, we're hearing various reports here, various reports. Okay. Lewis C, HS2 will be billions over. It already is. For about 30 minutes knocked off your journey. Better spend the money on updating local train lines. Oh, Trust cancels it. Well, cancels it, but the fact is that they've already put about 15 billion into it. It's already got up and running. They've already spent about 15 billion, and so, if they cancel it, then we're going to be at a loss, aren't we? Okay. Johnny B, your beloved King Charles will be fully behind the Green protesters. Well, I don't think he'll be using the train. He'll probably get a bloody helicopter, won't he, or a jet. Ian Bowden, the only way to stop so-called progress is to bag up and stop having too many kids. Yeah, okay, that's all right. I'll go along with that one. Dutch Farang, it's time for a cigarette. Okay. David Coleman, if I need an operation to live, I don't have a problem with taking apart from a monkey. Okay. Just cancel this bloody chat line, whatever crap he is. Anyway, there you go. Pour myself a little bit more beer, okay? So there's another aspect of this that I want to mention. Another aspect of this protest and climate. Don't get me. I mean, about the climate. I mean, the climate's very, very important, but it's just that some of the people who protest just get on your nerves. Ian Brown, that's good. Ian Brown, how can the police sit back and let yobs topple historic statues? Okay, that's a good point. There could even be a good question there. David Coleman, we need more people like Eddie. He speaks so much truth and he comes from such a well-educated background. Well, 1 out of 2 isn't bad. I'll tell you. Okay. Let's see. Let's just skip forward here. Steve Taylor, it was the A34 Newbury bypass site he tunneled under to stop bulldozers clearing the land. Well, why didn't he just, instead of why didn't he just do us all a favour and stand in front of the bloody bulldozers? That would have done us all a favour, I think. Rusty Lead, it's a tent that's so cumbersome that you need a couple of yaks to haul it around. Apparently, is that a yurt? I never heard of a bloody yurt before. Okay. Paul Hoskin, I won't judge him from who he was, but I'm glad he stood up to his principles. That 1996, I think he was born in 73. I'm 23. It's 23. It's a 23-year-old got any principles. When I was 23, all I wanted to do was go and get pissed and shag women. That's all I wanted to do at 23. Okay. Boris Johnson, these gypsies need to pay their taxes. They're a burden on the citizens of the UK. Okay. 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 Boris Johnson, okay, he's here. The honourable man, Boris Johnson, of course. These gypsies need to pay their taxes. They're a burden on the taxpayers. These protesters throwing paint on monuments and gates in London cost taxpayers a lot of money to clean up the scum of the earth. Okay, okay, fine and dandy. Okay, so let me just see, where are we now? Okay, a little bit behind with the chat here, but before we get out of the we finish this subject. We'll finish this subject. Okay, we talked about Swampy, but I talk about annoying protesters. I mean, here we go. Here we go. I'm going to talk about McLaren F1 race. A fox buggered the front of my 6-month-old Golf GTI 6 months ago. Foxes can go fox themselves. Oh, Jesus Christ. Nasty little bastards. It's all right saying save the fox, but have you ever been driving on a night time and you've seen a fox tearing the throat out of a poor, defenseless little bunny rabbit? Oh, God. The foxes are bastards, they are. They're bastards. Okay. Oh, Jesus, God almighty, David. You do like a good moan, don't you, David? Do you think you were going down the sensationalist route for YouTube content in order to get more views and thus earn more money? It's under, oh my God almighty, mate. Sensationalist. I'm on my second channel, mate. This is my little channel. This is Monday night. We don't talk any what was sensational about some of protesters. I mean, sensationalist. I mean, sensational. Well, I think sensational would be if I come on here wearing nothing but a bloody G-string. I think that'd be more sensational. Oh, God. I maybe put that one in the thumbnail. Okay. Ian Bound. Got some good questions here. Got some good questions. Ian Bound, what about the young guy shouting at Prince Andrew at the funeral procession? Was he right or wrong? Well, there's a time and a place for everything. That guy, apparently, I heard that guy now was suing a couple of people for wrestling them to the ground. It's a funny old world, isn't it? Okay, so. Okay. Let's see, Rusty Lib, money that would be better spent by Ed going on a bell ring and Sora Pattaya. Okay, that's a good idea. So, talking about protesters that get on my bloody nerves, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the queen of the protesters. Oh my God almighty. What a Greta Thunberg, climate change protester. Bloody Greta Thunberg, climate change protester. What an obnoxious, bloody, annoying kid. And the sad thing is that there's some people who listen to her. Okay, let's see. Let's just get that out of the way first of all. Let's get that out of the way with. Okay, so what do you think of Greta Thunberg? Okay, Paul Oscar, someone mentioned a G-string. Okay, what's this? Legan, I'm done eating that, but please no G-strings. Okay, McLaren F1 race. Okay. Kipax, okay. Lewis C, I love Greta, do you? Sandra Taylor, can't stand her. Okay. Stephen Forex, spoiled, uneducated brat. Do you know something? I first heard the name of Greta Thunberg. Apparently she's 19 now. She's been around for a few years. She's been around since she's been a kid, an absolute kid. And she's protesting about climate change, and she's got a big following. And she stands at rallies. This is it. This is her here. That's what she looks like at her rallies. There you go, Greta. Oh, Greta Thunberg. Protesting at at rallies about climate change, all this kind of stuff. And the sad thing is, And the sad thing is that people listen to it. Excuse me, but I personally would not listen to any snot-nosed kid telling me how I should run my life. Bloody snot-nosed kid, for Christ's sake. You know, there you go. What's this? Glenn Hendricks, politicians are absolute idiots giving her a plan. They are, but it's all their fan club, isn't it, who turn up to see her. When they had a climate change conference about a year ago, she stood outside the climate change and basically rallied up the crowd. I mean, if you are an adult, an absolute adult, and you go to see a protest that you believe in, and the person who is leading that protest is a snot-nosed kid, if you listen to that snot-nosed kid, then you're an idiot. You must be an adult would have to be an idiot to listen to a bloody snot-nosed kid banging on about climate change. Give us an adult, please. Let me see. Capo 17. Gritty Gratters, he will sort you all out. Kenny G, who's funding it? That's the question. Well, this is it. Arthur Lobb on Greta's. Now that's interesting. Yeah. That's interesting, isn't it? Paul Oscar, I don't know why she has a. I thought it was a joke, first of all. When I heard about this snot-nosed kid who was rallying the crowds and getting people to come and listen to her speak and all that, I thought, is this a joke? Is this a bloody joke? Man, damn, she worked for the globalists. Okay. Boo-hoo. Okay. McLaren F1 race. I don't want to be banned. No comment. Okay. Daniel Kelly. These kids should be seen in our head. They shouldn't even be bloody seen in their case. Oh, come on. I mean, we could have a snot-nosed kid for Prime Minister next. I'm a bit unashamedly ageist. I like the idea that people in authority are of a certain age of maturity, and that's the way that they should be. We're bad enough with Swampy. He was 23 years old when he became a protester celebrity. But Greta Thunberg, she's been a bloody teenager, for Christ's sake. Kipax flying around the world talking about climate change. The irony, absolutely. Yeah. Capo 17, kids lovers, you got them the day off school. Let me see, okay. No, we don't want to put that on there. Stephen Forex, when she was challenged by a non-worshiping interviewer, she fell to pieces and couldn't answer basic questions. I know, she bloody knows damn all. Johnny B, she should be at school, not protesting. Daniel Kelly, Eddie for Prime Minister. I'd volunteer. I want to see. I mean, the thing is, I wouldn't mind if someone said you could be the Prime Minister. Ed, we'll sack the other pair of clowns. Liz who trusted and Crispy Corbett. We'll sack them pair of clowns. I'd say yeah, because the thing is, it's like when you go to a karaoke. You're nervous. You think, oh, I'm not going to perform well. But when you see people, a couple of crap karaoke's before you, you think to yourself, well, I couldn't do any worse than them. I may as well get on with it. Okay, Joe Hart. She's 19, a woman, although she doesn't look like one. Okay. Yogi Bear, I think it's a disgrace she's being groomed for this. Oh, that's a horrible word, that. Since she was 10 years old, her parents should be looking at her. Oh, Jesus. That's kind of dark territory. But you're entitled to your opinion. Arthur Lobman, she's 19 now, but looks about 12. Oh, let's see. Okay. Sandra Taylor, Eddie, this isn't doing your blood pressure. Was you're going to die of something. I mean, if I'm going to die, I may as well die having a rant. Let me see. What did I say? What was her quote? Something I read about something I read about bloody annoying Greta. Something I read about her. What was it again? What was it again? Yeah, here is a quote. Here is a quote a profound quote from this brat here. This is a profound quote. What is Greta Thunberg's most famous quote? And this is the quote. The legendary Greta says, "So we can't save the world by playing the rules, because the rules have to be changed." I'll read that out again. Okay, got me words. So we can't save the world by playing by the rules, because the rules have to be changed. Everything needs to change, and it has to start today. Okay? Now, that was the most famous quote from Greta Thunberg. Well, I didn't think it was personally, because the quote that I heard from Greta Thunberg about a year ago, which was all over the news, was blah, blah, blah. And this was, she was outside the climate conference. She had all these bloody gullible, stupid, bloody people who worship a snot-nosed kid. She had all of it, and she said something like, whatever the L, and she swore whatever the F they're doing in there, blah, blah, blah. She said in the climate, conference, they were all talking blah, blah, blah. I mean, why did Greta use the phrase blah, blah, blah in regards to what they were talking? I'll tell you why she said blah, blah, blah. It's because she didn't know what they were talking about. She doesn't know her stuff, because she's a snot-nosed kid. Stephen Forex, the streams are nothing if not varied. Yeah, I mean, where else are you going to get this on a Monday night? Where are you going to get this on a Monday night? Skippy. That's Skippy the bus kangaroo. Okay, there's a video on YouTube of a child preacher. He's a powerful speaker, but when the audience ask him if he knows what his words mean, he hasn't a clue. Same as Greta. I think I've seen that one. Isn't his dad? I think his dad does all the. He's like a ventriloquist and a dummy. I think it's his dad that does all the talk about. I'm sorry. Kids should be kids. They should be banned from speaking public. They should be bloody banned. Kids should be, kids. I don't want to see child preachers. I don't want to see Greta whatever Greta blah blah blah, acting as if she knows everything when we all know that she's a snot-nosed kid. But I think the ones at fault are the people who support her. I mean, adults who would listen to this obnoxious kid. I think they must be bloody idiots. Just my opinion. Stephen O'Connor, nice to hear from you, Steve. Steve's in Phnom Penh. 20 years ago, there was not much in Phnom Penh. In that time, the city had developed beyond all recognition. Any protesters were removed by police and jailed or relocated. The progress is mainly for foreign. Yeah. I wonder if Greta was in Phnom Penh and she got up and protested about climate. Because, I mean, somewhere like Phnom Penh, and Steve knows this as well as I do, you get in a tuk-tuk in places around Phnom Penh and you need that mask. The pollution is terrible. It's bloody awful in some places. The fumes coming from those cars and the tuk-tuks and all of that. You need to be wearing a mask. I mean, I wonder what the reaction would be if Greta got up there and started protesting. Nice to hear from you anyway, Steve. David Coleman, I hate her. All the left wing thinks she is a god. Okay. Ian Bowden, didn't we have protests against nuclear arms a few decades ago? CND, didn't they win against the decision? Oh, yeah, you had all these. A lot of them were feminists, weren't they? Feminist with feminist haircuts, and they were protesting in a place like Greenham Common, weren't they? Because they had the Americans had the base there, and I think actually they had the base there at Greenham Common and whatever, and. Yeah, I know that's so wild. Yeah, absolutely. I think all that went by the wayside once Gorby came in and Chernobyl, and then all of a sudden, it started de-escalating, didn't it? It started de-escalating the situation, but now it's kind of gone backward. I mean, I wonder. I mean, if old Vlad the Impaler is pointing his rockets at us, I mean, I wonder if the protesters going to come out and say, no, we shouldn't have them. Yeah, when are they going to say that now? Oh, well. David Coleman, there's a new girl trying to take over there from Australia. I hope she doesn't get anywhere. And Andrew Hammond, Delboy and Rodney for PM and Chancellor, they will do a better job. To be honest with you, I think Laurel and Hardy will do a better job. Another fine mess they've gotten us into. Let's see. Yogi Bear, Greta knows nothing about sustainability. She hasn't got a clue. Okay. I think I did see the interview where she was grilled, put on the spot about a lot of things. Yeah, seemed to me she didn't have a bloody clue. She's just an obnoxious kid who likes the attention. She's an attention seeker. That's what she is. But obviously somebody's making bloody money out of it. Lewis C. She is right on climate change, but should say more about overpopulation, though. Okay. Ian Bowden. Surely we must all agree that the student protests in Tiananmen Square were for the good. Well, maybe have they done that much good? I know it was terrible. It was terrible. I mean, maybe China has come a long way from that, but that was absolutely dreadful. As Reagan said, you cannot massacre an idea. Let's see. Capo 17. If we were not allowed to protest, we were. The polls. Why am I laughing at that? Yeah. I think that's what brought down Maggie Thatcher, wasn't it? Like poll tax, amongst a few other things. It was a chain of events, but the poll tax, right? It's a focus. I don't know why I'm laughing at this, but I remember I've seen pictures and videos of the poll tax riots in Trafalgar Square, and there's one thing. That makes people protest more than anything when you start hitting their wallets. I'm so sorry, but that cracks me up. You talk about climate change. Oh, am I on the wacky back? Sorry. Okay. Nick Ross, if you stop peaceful protest, you will invite violent protest. Mark, good quote. Good quote. Okay, good quote. Boohoo. She made it one trip on a graphite sailboat to get attention. Since then, it's air travel. Okay. David Coleman, I agree with you, mate. Greta reminds me of Thailand. No, we're not. No, we're not going to say that. David Coleman, Eddie, let's stop talking about it. She gets all of us very, very upset. Oh no, I've got the bloody giggles somehow. What is in this beer? What's in it? Lewis C. Long tradition of writing going back centuries. It's the only way anything changes in this country. I wouldn't say writing is the way to change it, but it does help. But what I will say, take a leaf out of the old Monty Parrot, Dead Parrot sketch. The moral of that is, if you want to get anywhere, you have to scream blue murder. And sometimes that does work. I remember I was once buying a property somewhere, and the estate agents were just bloody dithering and refused to communicate. When I got on the phone and started bloody ranting and raving, and then all of a sudden they took notice of me. Works, doesn't it? Okay, here we go. Yeah, before I block this one, anyone interested in this? Chat 69 XYZ, best adult dating site. Anyone interested? Anyone interested in an adult dating site? No? Okay. Scrub them. There we go. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, it's refusing to block that one. Oh my God, well, whatever. And anyway, it's there if anyone's interested. Okay. Nick Ross, how about the anti-Vietnam War protest? Oh, we're going back a bit now. I don't think YouTube like me talking about those. Well, I made a video. There is a video very, very, very deep down on the list of one of my early videos on the other channel, and YouTube wouldn't put advertise on it all because it deals with the. We don't want to use the WAR. We don't mention the WAR. Daniel Kelly, Eddie, you should protest in Pattaya on the bar fines going up. Don't worry, there's other ways of doing that. Okay. Capo 17, Ed 17, Ed is on the wacky backy. What have they put in this beer? It's nice. It's Cumberland. It's nice. Oh, it's nice, but there we go. Okay, so oh yeah, there we go. Ian Bowden. Was Erica Rowe a protester on the pitch, or did she just like to flash air knockers? The second one. I mean, she had a cracking pair of knockers. I think it was at Twickenham in 1982. And what was wonderful about it, she got her knockers out and she run across the pitch, Erica Rowe. And what was amazing in them days, things were a little bit less prudish than they are now. The Sun newspaper and a couple of others, they had their topless picture explicit on the front page of the news, and no one seemed to mind really. But I mean, things have gone backward now. You know, they wouldn't allow that now, so funnily enough. She did have a nice pair. Okay. McLaren Clive. Okay, I'll break my silence. I do not want some jumped up little shit talking down to me when most of us want to make a living. I would like to see air carbon footprint. Well, I think the best sentence there, I do not want some jumped up little shit talking down to me when most of us just want to make a living. I'll drink to that, Clive. I'll drink to that. That is very, very succinctly put. Absolutely. I agree. Okay. Brent L. Ed, when do you fly out? Whenever Greta Thunberg lets me. No, I fly out early next month, and I can't wait. I can't bloody wait. Okay. Arthur Lobon. Brazil elections last night. No outright winner to do the top runoff again in 4 weeks. Brazil, I've traveled through Brazil. Magnificent country. It should be a rich country, but it's so sad, really, that, you know, the reason that country never really gets anywhere economically is really because one corrupt leader after another. Very, very sad. Very sad. The Brazilian people deserve a lot better than that. Let's see, Nick Ross. I recall when the bar girls in Bangkok all protested, they shut the bars. What were they protesting about? Okay, so anyway, we've caught up to date now. I've been on for an hour and 45 minutes. Yes. Been on for an hour and 45 minutes. It's been a nice little chat. Come on, you know, anyone who moans about what I'm talking about, I mean, what else can you do on Monday night? Monday night, 10 o'clock here in Britain. Monday night, very, very depressing time. A load of crap on the TV. The same old depressing news. At least we're talking about something. You look at some of the other live streams, and they're really talking about bloody damn all. You know, there's some of those live streams which are just talking about how much they hate each other and all this kind of stuff. Here, we found something to talk about, okay? So Steady Eddie Live. I'll be back tomorrow at 10 o'clock on this channel. We'll have a bit more of this, bit more of that anyway. And in the meantime, I will say thank you, everybody. Yeah, McLaren F1, yeah. McLaren F1 race. Cheers, Eddie. Yeah, great chat, mate. Okay, thanks for that. Yeah, Legan 5591. Time for these airs. I'll have to look up Erica Rowe. Yeah, do that. Look up Erica Rowe and don't knock at it. Okay. Paul Hoskin, thank you. Thank you for that, mate. Kipax, cheers. Okay, Arthur Lobon, okay. Capo 17, if we don't talk, we'll never learn, okay. RV Wisdom, nice to hear from you, mate. Nice to hear from you. Okay, Stephen Forex, boo-hoo. Okay. Okay, so anyway, I'll say good night, everybody. Good night. Thank you. See you tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Cheers, guys.